It all started with a tweet. Well, an X to be precise. That's what we're calling tweets now, apparently. James Fishback, CEO of Azoria Partners and a man who really hates wokeness, decided to share his big idea with the world. He proposed something called the DOGE Dividend. The basic gist? Take 20% of the money saved by the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, and give it directly to American citizens. How much could those checks be? Fishback estimated a cool $5,000 per person. Now you might be wondering, what in the world is DOGE? And that's a fair question. It's not the dog-themed cryptocurrency you're thinking of. This DOGE is supposed to be a government agency focused on saving taxpayer money. How much money? Fishback believes they can trim a whopping $2 trillion from the federal budget. Where he got that number, nobody really knows. It's worth noting that DOGE doesn't seem to have a website, or a phone number, or a physical address, but hey, details. You can't talk about anything with DOGE in the name without mentioning Elon Musk. The man loves him some dog-themed digital currency, and while this DOGE is different, Musk couldn't resist chiming in on Fishback's proposal. He even promised to discuss it with his good buddy, former President Donald Trump. Because why not? Now even Musk, a man known for his optimistic pronouncements, seemed a bit skeptical about that whole $2 trillion savings thing. Back in January, he publicly doubted DOGE could pull it off, and to be fair, he might have a point. As of last week, the actual savings attributed to DOGE were closer to $16.5 billion. Still a lot of money, mind you, but a far cry from $2 trillion. Speaking of former President Trump, he's all in on this DOGE dividend idea. At the recent FII Priority Summit, he gushed about the proposal. He loves the idea of giving 20% of the savings directly to the American people. He also likes that another 20% would go towards paying down the national debt. Fiscal responsibility. Well, at least partially. Trump has been repeating his support for the DOGE dividend non-stop. On Air Force One, at rallies, even during commercial breaks on his new TV network, Trump TV. It's clear that this has become a pet project for the former president. But there's one small problem. Even if DOGE magically finds a way to save $2 trillion, and even if Trump shouts his support from the highest mountaintop, none of it matters without Congress. That's right, those pesky folks on Capitol Hill actually get a say in how the government spends money. Imagine that. And right now, Congress isn't exactly thrilled with the DOGE dividend. House Speaker Mike Johnson, a man who enjoys a good spreadsheet and a balanced budget, has expressed serious doubts. He's worried about the impact on the national debt. He's also not convinced that DOGE is anything more than a fancy acronym, and he's not alone. Section 5. The inflation question. Economists, those killjoys of the financial world, have also weighed in on the DOGE dividend. And let's just say they're not throwing a ticker tape parade. Their biggest concern? Inflation. They argue that pumping billions or even trillions of dollars into the economy could cause prices to skyrocket. Remember the bad old days of 2023 when a gallon of gas cost $12? Yeah, they don't want to go back there. They also point out that the money saved by DOGE, assuming it actually saves any money, could be used to address the ever-growing budget deficit. You know, that whole spending more than we take in problem that's been plaguing the country for decades. But hey, why worry about boring old deficits when we can hand out giant checks, right? Section 6. A counterpoint on inflation. Now, not everyone is convinced that the DOGE dividend would be an inflationary disaster. Kevin Hassett, who served as Trump's director of the National Economic Council, argues that these checks wouldn't cause prices to spiral out of control. His reasoning? The government has already budgeted for this money. It's not like they're printing new dollars out of thin air. Well, at least not technically. Hassett even suggests that the DOGE dividend could actually reduce inflation. How? He believes that some Americans, particularly those who are struggling financially, would use their $5,000 checks to pay down debt. This, in turn, could lead to lower interest rates and, eventually, lower prices. It's a bold claim to be sure. But hey, stranger things have happened. Section 7. Echoes of 2020. This whole DOGE dividend debate feels oddly familiar, doesn't it? That's because we've been here before. Back in the dark ages of 2020, when a global pandemic brought the world to its knees, Congress passed a $2 trillion stimulus package, Remember those $1,200 checks we all got? Good times. The goal of those stimulus checks was to provide immediate relief to struggling Americans and to jumpstart the economy. And to be fair, they did provide some temporary relief, but they also contributed to the inflation problems we're facing today. So it's understandable why some people are hesitant to go down that road again. Section 8, Weighing the Scales. So, where do we stand on the DOGE dividend? It's a mixed bag to say the least. On one hand, the idea of getting a $5,000 check from the government is undeniably appealing. Who couldn't use a little extra cash these days? And if DOGE can really save trillions of dollars, then maybe, just maybe, it's worth the risk. On the other hand, the potential for inflation is a real concern. And let's be honest, the track record of government programs actually saving money isn't exactly stellar. Remember the $600 toilet seat, or the $43 million gas station? Yeah, government efficiency isn't exactly our strong suit. Section 9, A Nation Waits. As it stands, the DOGE dividend remains just that, a proposal. It's an idea floating around in the ether, fueled by social media hype and the whims of a former president. Whether it ever becomes a reality remains to be seen. Congress will have the final say, and right now they seem less than impressed. But one thing is certain, the American people are watching. They're struggling with rising costs, stagnant wages, and a general sense of unease about the future. They're looking for solutions. And if the DOGE dividend, however improbable it may seem, offers even a glimmer of hope, then it's not going away anytime soon.